Kadosh Boker Tov, Masechet Moed Katan Daf Amud Aleph 22a1. Says the Gemara. Yesterday we finished off by speaking about that halach gadol bayit levet akvarot mahu. What happens right now if the gadol bayit goes to the bet akvarot, which means it's in another city, and the gadol bayit is going somewhere else, and then he's coming back. Now the other avelim are staying there. So let's say the deceased was going to be buried in Israel or anywhere else, so they're taking the deceased over there, but it's not them. It's only the gadol bayit. The rest of the family, they're staying behind. So what's the halakha? Tashma, we learned in the Braita. The Amar Rabbi Baraba, Rabbi Yochanan says, Rabbi Baraba, the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Afilu alach gadol bayit lebet akvarot. Even if gadol bayit went to the bet akvarot, monei mahen, he's going to count with them. Says the Gemara, monei mahen. Right? Vatanya monei latzmo. We said that it's going to count to himself. Right? So he says, lakashya. It's not a question. Ha deata begotlata, ha deata delota begotlata. It all depends whether he came within the 3 days or not. Ah. Says the Gemara, Ki hada amar lehu Rav livnei tzilefoni. Just like Rav told the children of Sleponi, right? It says here it's the name of the place, or some people say it's the name of the family. Teatu begotlata, that they came within the 3 days. Yeah, limnu ba'adaychu, count with them. Teatu begotlata, but if they didn't go within the 3 days, limnu lenavshayhu. Yeah, he says then you're going to count to yourself. Amar lehu Rav livnei mechuza. Says Rava to the people of Mechuzah to Bavel, if you guys are not going after the coffin, right? This is Gemara Mefureshet. The people that are not going after the coffin, meaning that they're not traveling with the coffin, the second they turn their faces, they already start Avelut. Yeah, why? Because they turn their faces, they're not going with them. Yeah, Rabbi Shimon says, Afilu ba bayom shavi'i, right? Because basically that was it finished. Right now we're going into a new thing. But basically that's the way we're going to finish. By the second that they turned away their faces and they're not traveling anymore, that's why. That's why, for example, when they send people off to Israel, if they're not traveling there, so what happens? So what happens is that they're going to already start the count. Okay? Yeah, Rabbi Shimon says, yeah, afilu ba bayom shavi'i. Even if they're going to come on the 7th day. Right, from a place which is close by, they're going to count with them. Amar Rabbi Chia bar Gamda, Rabbi Yossi ben Shaul Amar Rebbe, says Rabbi Chia bar Gamda, name Rabbi Yossi ben Shaul, and name Rebbe, vehu shebau matzah menachamim etzlo. Says that's only if it's going to come and they're going to find the menachamim by him. What does it mean they're going to find the menachamim by him? They're going to find the people that they still didn't separate, meaning they're still there. So since they're still there, that's why you could still count, meaning that the people are still there giving the tanchumim, so therefore they could still count with them. Rabbanan comes and he asks a question, what's the halacha if they started getting up, but they didn't get up? Is it kilu that they already got up, and therefore he came, now it's too late, he has to start the entire count? Or maybe, no, at the end of the day, they physically didn't get up. They were getting ready to get up, but they didn't actually get up. So teku, we don't have an answer. Okay? Right, the friends of Rabbi Abba accepted from Rabbi Abba. Umanu, and who is that? Rabbi Zera. Rabbi Zera. And some people say, Chavre de Rabbi Zera, the friends of Rabbi Zera from Rabbi Zera. Umanu, who is that? Rabbi Abba. Amar Rabbi Abba, Rabbi Chia bar Abba, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Halacha is Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, Betrefot, Halacha Rabbi Shimon Be'avel. The Halacha to do with Trefot and Behemot is like Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. And the Halacha is like Rabbi Shimon to do with Avelut. So says the Gemara, Rabbi Shimon, Bavel, what is Rabbi Shimon? Hadi Amran, that which we just said. That means even if a person came on the 7th day, as long as he came in a place which is close by, which means within a day's distance of travel, Monei Mahen, he counts with them and he only does the last day of Shiva. So imagine a guy, right? He comes, Mamash, the last day of Avelut. But as long as he was with the Makom Karov, the last day of Avelut, he counts with them. He does 1 day of Avelut. Anyway, Rabbi Shimon be'avel Hadi Amran. Rabbi Shimon in Avelut, that's what we just said. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel betrefot, like Rabbi Shimon Gamliel in Trefot. The time as we learned to the Braita. Ya bnei me'ayin shenikvu ve'lechas otmatan keshira. When a person has bnei me'ayin, the intestines of an animal, that there was a hole in it, but there's lecha, right, which is closing it off, which is blocking it off. Right? It's saliva or whatever, liquid. So it's going to be kosher to eat it. These are the words of Shimon Gamliel. So therefore, what is lecha? Amar of Kahana, shirka de me'ayed denafika gav duchka. We're talking about the lecha, which is inside of the intestines, which is so sticky, so on the things that it comes out only with tochka the sakina. You have to cut it out with a sakina, with a knife. That's the only way. The reason why we got into this, for those that were paying attention, is because it says, right, that we said that the halacha is like Rashbag in Trefot and like Rabbi Shimon in Avelut. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Shimon was that which we just mentioned. And the Rashbag in Avelut, we just in Trefot, that's what we just mentioned right now.
But these are things that happen in the Reot.
Yes. Amar Mandehu. Somebody said, Eske ve'esek. Right? He says he should be zoche to go up to do aliyah to Eretz Yisrael. And I want to hear it from the mouth of the one that said it. Meaning, I want to hear it from him live. To hear a second class, Zoom, it's not the same. So what do you need? You want to hear it live, right? So he says I should be zoche, that I could go and I could actually hear it from him, right? Kisalik, when he went up to Eretz Yisrael, he told him, he says, Anna, en halacha. I didn't say the halacha is like that. Right? I didn't say that. So he asked, that the halacha was not like Rashbag. So Rabbi Shimon Ba'avel Mai. What about Rabbi Shimon Ba'avel? Amale plukta ninu. It's a machloket. The one was stated of Chasta Amar, the halacha is right, the halacha is like Rabbi Shimon. Chen Rabbi Yochanan, the halacha is like Rabbi Shimon. But Rav Nachman says the halacha is not like Rabbi Shimon. So basically, he went, and all of a sudden, which happens many times, you go to the rabbi, and all of a sudden the rabbi said something completely different. So he comes and he asks, so then, okay, so now says the Gemara, okay, so what's halacha then? So says the Gemara, en halacha kerashbag b'trefot, the halacha is not like kerashbag b'trefot, but the halacha is like Rabbi Shimon Ba'avel. Why? Why is halacha like Rabbi Shimon Ba'avel? Ta'amar Shemuel halacha k'divrei makel b'nini avelut. Halacha is like the divrei mekel and avelut, which means here Rabbi Shimon is a mekel. He's being lenient. So the fact that he's being lenient, so therefore we come and we say that the halacha is like him in avelut. Okay, very good. Next, al kol hametim kulan madche midato harei ze meshubach. On all the metim except for the father and the mother, right? If a person is going to come and going to quickly take the mitat hamet to the place of the mikubran, he's not going to wait. It's going to be meshubach. Yeah, harei ze meshubach. But if he on the father and the mother, he's trying to bury them so quickly, it's actually something disgraceful. Meaning on everybody else, they try to do it quickly. But on the father and the mother, it's disgraceful to try to, Hayarev Shabbat or Erev Yom Tov. Meaning because basically, is it proper to start quickening? There's a Gemara. What about if it was Erev Shabbat or Erev Yom Tov? Harei ze meshubach. It's always going to be meshubach. But then he's just doing it for the kavod of the father and the mother. Meaning, let's say a person passes away right after 120 on Erev Shabbat or Erev Yom Tov. So now it's their parents, but they're trying to do it quickly. Why? They want to bury them on Erev Shabbat or Erev Yom Tov and not wait until basically Sunday or whatever it is. So therefore, there it's a kavod. Since it's a kavod, they're allowed to do it as quickly as possible, even though it's like they're running and rushing it and everything. No problem. It's the kavod of the parents. So therefore, there's no problem whatsoever. Al kol hametim kulan ratza memaet veiskor ratza eno memaet. If a person wants, on all the other people that passed away, if he wants, he could minimize the work. Right? If he wants, he doesn't have to minimize the work. Bet 22b. Please turn the page. Yeah, he says on the father and the mother, right? And memaet, he's obligated to memaet. He's obligated to minimize in the work. Al kol hametim kulam. Yeah. So what are you going to ask? He's going to minimize the melacha.
On first 3 days.
No, so what are you supposed to be asking? You're supposed to be asking that we learn that an avel is asur to do melacha during the shiva. After the 3 days, there's a difference between betzina, no betzina, but it's not him. It's usually other people, and then it's this, and avadav v'shivchotav, right? But here we're talking about asakin that you're allowed to do. For example, davar aved. So that means davar aved, that means for a parent, it's much worse than for another sibling, right? Or another close relative. Okay? Al kol hametim, on all the people that pass away, kulan, ratza choletz, ratzeno choletz. If he wants, he could take off the shoulder, meaning that they used to reveal their shoulders, their katef. And if ratza eno choletz, alaviv elimo, on the father and the mother, choletz, he has to do it. There was a gadol ador that his father passed away. He wanted to do that. So then somebody else that was also gadol ador wanted to do it with him. So then so then he didn't do it, which means that he wanted to show him that it's a bizayon. So since it's a bizayon, it's a disgrace. So therefore, the other gadol ador was going to do it with him. The guy didn't want that the other gadol was going to do it with him. There were two gadol ador. So then he just didn't do it because he was a gadol ador. But other than that, obviously he was obligated to do it. Abaye says, gadol ador Rebbe. The gadol ador was Rebbe. That means Rebbe's father passed away and he wanted to reveal his katef. The gadol ador which was with him was Yaakov Baracha. So Vikadami or someone we would say was Yaakov Baracha, and the gadol ador was with him, which was Rebbe. So Bishlam gadol ador Dimoshimo is Rebbe. That's why he didn't want to do it. Why? Because he didn't want that the other rabbi should become mevuzeh. But according to the Yaakov Baracha, amaynim nav lo chalatz. Right? So he says Rabbi Shimon Gamliel was a nasi, and everybody is obligated to do it for a nasi. Says the Gemara, it's a good question. Kasha. That means there was halacha, but the nasi, everybody, all the other gedolim, everybody was obligated to. So if it was Rebbe's father was Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Rashbag was a nasi. The nasi is like the gadol ador. Everybody's chayav kriya in gadol ador, even if it wasn't their rabbi, because at the end of the day, it was a gadol ador. So therefore, everyone was. So then, why was the problem? Yeah, they were doing much kriya. Al kol hametim kulam, on all the metim. Al kol hametim, on all the people that passed away, kulam nistaper after 30 days. Al aviv elimoat shegarubo. You need ge'ara. Ge'ara means that they tell you off, that you look terrible. Okay? Al kol hametim kulam nichnas bet hasimcha la'achar 30 yom. On all the other people, they go in after 30 days. They go to the bet hasimcha. Al aviv elimoat, the parents, after 12 months. Amar Rav Chana, says Rav Chana, on simchat mereut, right? And we're talking about simchat mereut, which means that which we said that it's a mutar for an avel to go. Other than Aviv Imo, is better simcha after 30 days. It's davka simchat mereut. That is basically there's going to be a lot of friends and everything. But it's not a simcha kol kach, but a sudat simcha, a sudat nisuin, asur likanes even after 30 yom. So says the Gemara, Meitvei, what are you talking about? Well, simcha mereut 30 yom. It's 30 days. Kasha, it's a good question. It's true because basically after 30 days, there's no avelut afterwards for a brother or sister, for the everything other than a father and a mother. He taught like this. Simcha mereut, they're allowed to go in immediately, but it's not a true simcha. It's just it's like friends getting together. So it says we have the hatanya lesimcha shoshim u'mereut shoshim. Says 1 second. I thought that it was for to go into a siudat simcha siudat mereut. You need the minimum of 30 days for both of them. So lakashia haba risuta ve'haba puranuta. He says one of them is a siudat mereut, the first one, and one of them is siudat that you're obligated to pay back, meaning you have to pay them back, meaning that you invited, for example, they invited you and you have to pay them back. So then that's a sudat mereut, that's that you have to pay them back. It's not that you want to start something, that you want to get friends over or whatever it is. Okay, al kol hametim kulan, on all the people that pass away, korea tefach, they have to do kriya v'tefach. Al aviv elimoat shekalel libon, the father and the mother until they reveals the heart. Amar Rabbi Avu says Rabbi Avu, Maikra, what's the pasuk? Lechazek David b'gadav v'yikrem. David, he took the clothing and he tore. Grabbing something, there's no such thing as grabbing something less than a tefach. So therefore, there has to be minimum of a tefach. Remember, tefach is 8 centimeters. I told you, there's a lot of me'aratzot that don't even know these halachot. Okay? So it says over here, on all the people that pass away, even if he's going to be wearing 10 chalukin, he's only going to do on the top one. Right? He doesn't have to do all the layers, just on the top clothing. And the father and the mother, he has to do all of them because however, though the mitpachat nosho is not me'akev, meaning it doesn't need doesn't matter whether it's a man or a woman, okay, that they have to tear the clothing. Rabbi Shimon Lazar says no, aisha et hatachton umachzira la'achorea ve'chozera ve'korat et ha'yon. So he says what happens is like this. How does a woman do? She tears the inner one, then she turns it around, okay, to the back. And then she tears the outer one. And by doing that, that's how she does it. Why? If she's going to tear the outer one and the inner one, so then you see, you see everything. What? Yeah, you see everything. So therefore, because of that, what you do is that she tears the bottom one, turns it around, and now she tears the top one in the back. So therefore, that means that the top one, you still have something underneath. So she still has the clothing underneath.
Now for a man, you said even if he has 10 layers.
Okay? Al kol hametim kulan, on everybody. Ratza mavdil kameh safa shelo. If he wants, he could tear it to two, right? This is the safa which they make around the neck. Ratza eno mavdil. If he wants, he doesn't need to do it. Alav imo mavdil, he has to do this. Rabbi Yehuda says, kol kera shelo mavdil kameh safa shelo, eno ela kera shel tiflut. It's only considered a kera of tiflut. I'm going to show it to you here. This is mavdil kameh safa shelo. Everyone could see it. Mavdil kameh safa shelo, right here. That he's tearing. Okay, this is ratza eno mavdil. He left it. Does that mean that he's basically here? He did it in the middle, right? And here he didn't do it in the middle. He did it from the top. Well, you're right. Obviously, you would have to go downwards towards the heart.
It's okay.
Yeah, he could start up there and go downwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah, as long as he's going downwards. That's what he says.
Wow.
Okay. Next. Okay. Next it says Amar Rabbi Yavu, says Rabbi Yavu.
There is no cut like this and like this. I mean, it doesn't have to be.
No, it could be this way also. We're gonna see that cut now in 1 second. Amar Rabbi Yavu, says Rabbi Yavu. My tamad Rabbi Yehuda, what's reasoning Rabbi Yehuda? Tichtiv, as it says in a pasuk, v'yachazeh b'Yehuda v'yikrem l'shleim kraim. Mashma shlema v'yikrem, from the fact that it says v'yikrem and I don't know that it's two. Ela shenirim kruim kashay. It looks like it's torn into two, right? Which means the beged needs to be seen as if that it's two different katichot, and that's only if it's going to be if the kriya starts from the sifata petach habet tzavar, but if it was done in the middle of the clothing, right? So then it doesn't look like it was torn into two. That's why it looks like it's torn into two. That's why I told you, because when you go like this and this, so then it looks like it's torn into two different clothing, which we're going to see now. Al kol hametim kulan sholel leachar shiva. So on everybody, they could actually sew it up afterwards. That's this case here, sholel. After 7, he's sewing it up. Everyone sees it. He's sewing it up. Yeah, he's sewing it up. Okay, tofer kedarko. After 7 days. After 7 days, he could actually tofer. Okay, umeache, and he could finish it off, right, after 30 days. Meaning after Shiva, he just sews. After 30 days, he completely closes it off. So you look at it and you hardly see that there's anything there. Okay, alavivili more, but on the father and the mother, it could only be done the shlila after 30 days. And then me'acheh, he's never allowed to fix it. So it means he's never allowed to be me'ached completely. Okay? Then it says, vayisha, but a woman, shololto immediately. Why? Because of the kavod. It means even within the shiva. That's why what happens, many times, it happens that, for example, a woman, they have to do kriya. But sometimes they're not properly dressed. What do? So many times the rabbi will come. Anyway, it's always a woman that does it to a woman. Right? So you give it to the thing. You tell her, okay, they tear, and immediately they take a sikap bitachon. How do you call it? Safety pin. A safety pin, and they close it up. That's what it says over here. It says here, sholalto le'altar. Even within the shiva, she's allowed to fix it. Why? Because of her kavod. She's not going to stay, with something ripped and whatever it is, and it's a bizayon. So therefore, right, we do that. Okay. Then the Gemara says, "Kiata Rabbi, when Rabbi came, Rabbi Yochanan says of Yochanan, "Kol hametim ratza korea biyad, im ratza korea b'kli." On everybody else, it can be done whether it's with a hand or with a utensil. It has to be with a hand. Okay. It's always going to be on the inside. On the alaviv limo, it's also b'chutz, which means that everybody could see. Okay. So Amar Rav Chasta says Rav Chasta v'chen l'nasi. The same halacha will apply to a nasi that passes away. The exact same thing. That's what we said, if you remember. Because when a nasi passes away, everybody is obligated in the avelut for the nasi. Okay, the nasi. They used to be nasim. The nasim, yeah. The rabbis, the big rabbis. Yeah, Rabbi. No. Basically, we're going to ask the following question: Lo hushvu la'aviv limo ella leichui bilvad. So the question is, I thought that we said that the rabbi that teaches him Torah and a nasi, the Av Bedin, is only to do with Av Ba'em, only to do with the Tfilat Abeg Tikunot, to actually fix it. My love, afilu nasi, we're not talking about even for a nasi, that it's not exactly like the father and the mother, which means that you don't have to do it outside. It says, no, levan mi nasi, except for the nasi, meaning the nasi is exactly like the father and the mother. Nasiya Shachid, when once happened when the nasi passed away, right? Kafe asita v'kumala, right? Turn around the michteshet and stand on top of it in order that everyone should see you. And show everybody how to do kriya. That means he went and he said, pick up the, get on top of a big thing and show everybody how to do the kriya, how it's done. Al chacham choletz miyamin. On a chacham that passes away, they have to do chalitza on the right side. Remember, chalitza was what means that they reveal the shoulders on the right side. Alav bedin on the left side. On the nasi on both. Right? That means there was always a nasi, av bedin, and a chacham. Right? The nasi was the chief rabbi. Right? The av bedin was the head of the bedin. Right? And the chacham were chachamim that were there. Right? Whether it's dayanim and all the things that they were there. So each one. Okay? Tan Rabbanan, we learned in the Braita, chacham shemeh bet midrasho batel. When a person passes away, a chacham passes away, his bet midrash or batel. Why? They have to do a sped. So they don't learn. In his bet midrash, no learning. Why? They have to do a spedim. Av bedin. Yeah, whatever, until it says here.
But then they don't close it.
Here it says it's 7 days. And some people say no, that it's only Yom HaKvura. It's a machloket. Some people say this, some days, some days. Av bedin shemet, av bedin that passes away. Kol batei midrashot shebiro betelin. All the batei midrash in the city are going to be batel. Nechnasin lebet knesset. They're going to go into the bet knesset. Mishlim mekoman. They're going to change their places. Hayoshvim atzavon, yoshvim adarom, yoshvim adarom, yotzvim atzavon. And everyone has to change their places in the bet midrash as well. The ones that are in the north go to the south, south north. Because remember, a person that's in avelut, he changes the seat. You understand? For the entire year, right? He comes. That was a minhag the entire year. Other people only 30 days. What? It's for a fallen mother. Okay. Because it's like a shinui makom, it's to change.
So that's what they had a place.
Says the Gemara, "Benichnasin lebet knesset u'meshanin mekoman yoshvim atzavon yoshvim b'dorom, yoshvim b'dorom, yoshvim atzavon." Nasi shemet batei midrashot kulan betelim. All of them, right? All the batei midrashot are going to be batel in all over the place, in all over the entire diaspora, in all the right. To bnei knesset, nichnasin bet knesset. Everyone goes into the bet knesset, right? Vekorim shiva, and they're going to be reading 7 aliyot like in Shabbat, and then they go out. Yeshua ben Korcha omer, lo sheilchu v'yitalu b'shuk yoshvim b'domim. They don't go stam to be metaleh in the shul. But rather, they sit down, families, and they're like, Mamash, they're just quiet because of everything that is going on. Be'ezrat Hashem,